Welcome to the next episode of this channel. Due to the fact that the episode about where our opponents run was received very positively, today we will look at a number of other missions in which we have to chase our opponents to see where they are escaping. Thank you for your ideas and suggestions on what other quests we should look at in terms of this topic. A nice example is the comment from Sean Martin, who suggested checking the mall shootout mission, and this is where we'll start our video. Colonel Cortez asks us to collect some important chips from a French courier in this task, which are of particular importance to Cortez. It would seem like a simple job and everything will run smoothly, but in the end, it turns out that the French services have set a trap. While escaping from the shopping mall, the courier gets on the motorcycle and tries to escape. Catching up with this character is not particularly challenging. The courier runs quite slowly, and we have plenty of opportunities to get him. But what happens when we do decide to follow him? Well, it turns out that the courier is going to a specific location, namely to a certain hotel in Vice Point. It is quite a landmark for several reasons. One of them is the fact that a rancher spawns in front of this hotel from time to time, and another is that we can find one of the rampages behind this hotel. It is interesting that in this building, we can see the texture of the open door. However, when we decide to go through it, we will see another solid texture, this time with the door closed. The next surprise awaits us in the mission Torino's Last Flight. After CJ got rid of almost all the members of the Loco Syndicate, about which we had made a video and we recommend watching it, it was Mike Torino's turn. The main character then goes to the place from which Torino is supposed to depart soon. Unfortunately, the helicopter takes off before CJ is able to reach it, and as a consequence, the chase begins. During this time, we have the opportunity to destroy the helicopter many times, and thus Mike Torino himself. However, as it turns out, if we are a little more patient, we can experience something quite unexpected. Well, while one might expect that the helicopter has a destination point, this point turns out to be CJ's farm, which we can buy. Once we are on the farm, we will notice a few more Torino people there, and if we get too close, a message will appear that Torino has dragged us into a trap, and in a fraction of a second, he will fly away and the mission will be failed. Well, now we're back to GTA Vice City, specifically to the mission called Hit the Courier. From Kent Paul, we learn that the courier is soon to arrive by Maverick to the docks with brand new plates that we need to start printing money in one of Tommy's businesses. As it turns out, the woman who owns the matrices goes to a specific location in Little Haiti. By the way, it is also a print work where we can find machines similar to the ones that belong to us.
Mr. Vassetti? Hey, you bought...
Many viewers of the previous episode mentioned the mission misappropriation in the context of showing what happens when we pursue our goal for as long as possible. In this mission, we are tasked with killing a DEA agent who has received evidence from the FBI that would be a heavy burden on Tenpenny if they saw the light of day. After breaking through the herds of FBI agents, we can let our opponent escape to the helicopter, which will head straight to the roof of the Emerald Isle Casino. However, as we'll see in a moment, this is not the final destination this man is heading to. Well, if we decide to continue chasing this agent, in some time, the character will descend the stairs to the parking lot to the Buffalo parked there. Then it will start running straight to the next parking lot, this time in Roca Escalante. There, the DEA agent will go down one floor, where another bodyguard in the form of several FBI agents will be waiting for him. Another task that we will need the magnifying glass is an order from Catalina, who comes up with a great idea to steal a tanker from a gas station right after the gentleman from the store refused to give us the money from the cash register. Of course, after taking the truck, the men try to get us at all costs, but as players, we can completely ignore them. Such a tactic has an interesting effect because if we decide to forget about our tail, an additional cutscene will appear after reaching Mr. Whitaker. During it, we will see how the men's car will hit a nearby gas station with great force, which will cause a big explosion, but the gentleman will miraculously avoid death. Moving on, we will return to Vice City and discuss one of the missions that we perform for the Kaufman Cabs thread. It is precisely about the mission called VIP. As the name suggests, we are supposed to pick up some prestigious client from the wealthy district, Starfish Island. The situation gets complicated quickly because the competitor's taxi takes our passenger literally from under our nose. Taking into account various oversights in the GTA series, we decided to check whether the moment we decide to only follow the competition's taxi will actually take the customer to the airport. And here it turns out that there is no surprise. Next up, we'll take a look at missions where we may be a bit disappointed by keeping track of our goals. These are mainly missions that you wrote to us in the comments, in which you could definitely expect much more. An example of such a task is A Home in the Hills. During the cutscene, CJ and his crew decide it's time to return to Los Santos, and in style. To do so, CJ and the Triads are trying to seize Mad Dog's villa from Big Papa, a Los Santos Vagos drug dealer. During the chase, the dealer manages to escape to the parked Phoenix, and unfortunately, we have an infinite amount of time to catch up with him. Unfortunately, because Big Papa doesn't have any specific destination, he will drive around the state of San Andreas until we capture or lose him. The same happens in the mission Los Sepulcros, where after killing all the Ballas at the funeral, we have to get Kane, an important member of the Ballas. When we hold off killing Kane in the cemetery, after some time we will see that a Black Greenwood will come to pick up the man and Kane will get into it. Unfortunately, the character, like Big Papa, has no planned hiding place from us. Kane will only walk randomly through the streets of the city.
I think I got fuck y'all random.
Another quest of this type is Mission from the Truth entitled Green Goo. Many people recommended that we check this mission, so we had high expectations of it when it comes to the potential place where the train will reach. However, this train will only circle the entire state of San Andreas without stopping at a single train station. So, if this mission gives you a problem, then there is nothing to worry about when it comes to time. All we have to do is stay close to the train.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ!
In terms of the theme of the episode, the disappointing mission is also an assignment from Asuka called Paparazzi Purge. In this task, we have to kill an intrusive reporter who, colloquially speaking, likes to observe future stars of his articles from a distance. Overall, the mission is quite simple, as we need to damage his boat to make it burst into flames. After some time, the reporter will start hanging around the beach and finally decides to go ashore. He will then jump into the land-based Stallion and then drive around Liberty City with no plans to stay anywhere. We also end up chasing a developer from Vice City, whom we have to kill for Avery Carrington. At the beginning of this mission, we go to the golf course to find the developer. Initially, it may seem that the man running away from us is aimlessly driving around the golf course. However, if we wait a bit, it will turn out that our target will go to the gates, and after crossing them, he will get into the substituted white Greenwood, which will be driven by his chauffeur. At the end, we will mention Waste the Wife mission, because many people wrote in the last episode that perhaps Mrs. Dawson is rushing to some specific place in her panic escape. Here it turns out that nothing interesting will happen, regardless of whether we attack Mrs. Dawson or follow her calmly. And that's how we got to the end of this episode. If you haven't seen the previous episode, where we also checked where our rivals go, then we recommend checking it out. Meanwhile, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. See you soon!